आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़।
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine, supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Purvasha Banerjee and Shushanto Das.
एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़, की आवाज़।
Indian Statistical Institute is a public university which is recognized as an institute of national importance. It grew out of the statistical laboratory set up by Prashanto Chandra Mohananobish in Presidency College, Kolkata. Established in 1931, this unique institution of India is one of the oldest institutions focused on statistics. Primary activities of ISI are research and training of statistics, development of theoretical statistics, and its applications in various natural and social sciences. We welcome Dr. Abhishek Mukherjee in this podcast. Dr. Mukherjee is an associate professor in Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. He is an ecologist working on chemical ecology. Let's hear from his own voice about his academic journey.
Hello everyone, so my name is Abhishek Mukherjee. I'm an associate professor currently in the Indian Statistical Institute. I basically did my PhD from University of Florida, and then I did my postdoc from the Texas A&M University. After that, I spent a bit of a time in the CSIRO Australia Brisbane lab as a visiting scientist sometime, and then I also joined in ISI in 2014. So basically, I'm an ecologist, an entomologist, and my principal work of activity is on chemical ecology of plant-insect interactions. To be a little bit more lucid, is that when an insect or a pathogen attacks a plant, primary question is how they know which plant to attack. Because insects, yes, they can see, but many of them actually cannot see. For example, those are inside the soil. They cannot see actually, but they can smell. They smell by the chemicals that the plant emits. So this is called the chemical ecology, where the pest responds to the chemical released by the plant and they locate the plants or their host. So they basically understand from the chemical which plant to avoid and which plant to attack. So this is the core area of our research. I have been working this for like about 10-12 years now, which fits in the broad domain of biological control. And the idea is to develop an alternative management options for agriculturally important pests or diseases, so that we reduce our reliance on traditional pesticides or other control measures which are expensive.
As rice is an important crop of India, Professor speaks about his research on how nematodes affect rice yielding and also focuses on the prevention rather than applying pesticides on affected crop.
Yeah, so basically I want to talk about our research on chemical ecology part. To be precise, currently what we are focusing on, as we all know, that rice is a very, very important crop of India. It's all grown all over India, and it's very important contributor of Indian economy. So we have seen that in our research that a particular pest called rice root knot nematode, which attacks the rice root and creates galls within the root, basically small knots of the root. The problem is that when the nematode attacks, the root tips that forms a knot, and those roots basically cannot suck water from the soil. So basically, rice from the very top, it looks sick. And the farmers, because these nematodes are very small and microscopic, they cannot see. And they sometimes perceive that maybe there is some shortage of water, shortage of nutrient. So that creates a lot of an issue. So in other words, nematodes, that's why are referred to as sort of a hidden pest. In our research, we identified that the nematodes basically responds to plant based on chemical cues. And because India is one of the center of origins of rice and center of diversity also, in that case, there are so many different rice varieties. There are some rice varieties which are very attractive to the nematode. There are some rice varieties which are less attractive to the nematode. So in our lab, we maintain about 350 rice germplasms collected all over from India. And we have challenged the nematode with all these germplasms, and we identified about 2, one of which is very resistant, one of which is very susceptible, meaning that the resistant one, the nematode don't really attack. The susceptible one, the nematode really attacks. So our job at this stage is to find out what is the difference in the chemical signature. So what we want to understand, which chemical is responsible, the nematode is basically responding to that chemical. So if we can identify that, that would basically can be used as a management strategy for this very, very important pest. And it would be highly beneficial to, people across the board. So that is what we are working for last about 10 years, and we have published several articles on it. I'm fortunate to get a very good grant from SERB, DST SERB, and which is also supporting my research. So we have a collaboration in NRRI, the National Rice Research Institute, ICAR. I am working with Jadavpur University, Calcutta University. So of course, at the current scenario, it's not possible to do independent work, rather not desirable also, because our work has multiple facets, and these different people from different domain, they can contribute and make our work much more meaningful. So when I did my PhD in Florida, I have seen that chemical ecology is a big thing, because see, this is considered as an Achilles heel of pest and plant interactions. Because see, a pest, when it attacks, what we do, it's a common knowledge that people spray pesticides. So we spray pesticide when the attack has already happened. What if we can prevent the attack? So if we can identify the chemical the insect or the pest respond to, and if we can block the chemical somehow, that's how we can prevent that. So in foreign countries, people are working a lot on chemical ecology, and they have developed several techniques. But yes, the way we are independent, that rice chemical ecology, very few studies has been done, because that's not a priority crop abroad. That's a priority crop for us. Rice nematode interaction is very, very less studied, because one, nematodes are very small, microscopic, people are not very comfortable working with. So that's why we have developed our techniques and methods on this particular domain, because we thought this is a very important pest for us. It's, not, people are not working on it as such. So that's why we are unique in that sense. So yes, globally there are a lot of research has been done, but I would rather say that at this stage we are also doing not bad, definitely.
Professor also inserts his view that in this particular area of study, India is the pioneer.
So the research from a particular, a management strategy is what is basically lacking. There is a lot of knowledge in the paper and other aspects, but the translation is always lacking. So we are really trying hard to translate. And if we can do, yes, we'll be the pioneer.
Professor speaks about the practical challenge of this research work.
So when you identify a chemical, you have to understand that it's not a single chemical response. Nature is very complicated. Nature is not a single response. There is too many chemicals interacting with each other. So and identifying one, which is the most important, is always a challenge. People are always trying to translate. It's not that not everyone is trying. But then this is an ongoing research questions. We have, developed some, we are hoping that we can translate. So yes, it's hard.
Professor Mukherjee shares his view on industry-academia interface.
See, our idea is to very layman's language. So if I go to a farmer in West Bengal or say any part of, say Odisha, they who do a lot of rice in Jharkhand also. Their concern is, sir, I don't care what insect or what pest attacks. My only concern is how to prevent it. So yes, that is, of course, a farmer would ask. Farmer would ask for a helping hand from a scientist like us so that we can prevent the attack. So if we can identify a chemical which the nematode is very attractive to, we can develop a trap. For example, we can develop a trap. If the trap contains that chemical, we put it in the soil, the nematode would be attracted to that particular trap. Once we remove the trap, we can remove all nematodes along with the trap. So we don't have to apply any pesticides. It's a unique way of controlling thing. Well, the idea is, it's still again, it's all in idea phase at this stage, I would say. So just imagine that we use a lot of perfume, right? One of the perfumes is really great. So a lot of people are using that perfume because they're attracted to it. Similarly, if that chemical is sort of an attractant to a nematode, if that chemical is put somewhere in the field, of course, that chemical attracts nematode. So that acts as a trap. And you build a contraption or whatever it is, the chemical is inside, the nematode goes inside in search of that chemical, and you take the contraption out, including all the nematodes, along with that trap. So what you basically is doing, you are reducing the population of nematodes within the soil without actually creating any ecological harm because you haven't sprayed anything. So theoretically, this is the win-win situation for the farmer and us too.
We thank Professor Mukherjee for the valuable insights that he shared with us in this podcast.